Tell them who we are, Bob.
Are we?
Tell them who we are.
Well, I hope so, hello, folks. Welcome to the Tuesday night edition of UGTV.tv. That's right, where you at? Not on your radio dial, but on your computer.
Yeah, in all our radiant glory.
Right, don't touch that computer.
Yeah, especially with a hammer.
Right. I don't know, you can't have a hammer anymore unless you have a license for one.
If I had a, you'd have to have a license for a hammer?
Yeah, because there's more people killed with hammers than there are guns.
Well, I didn't realize that.
So you have to turn in all your hammers unless you're a licensed carpenter.
Well, I'll declare. I get
That's
everything.
logical. That's logical.
Illogical or logical?
Logical, very logical.
Okay. I'll get things squared away here in a minute.
What are we trying to do?
Well, I was trying to get
Are
our
you trying to get
analytic.
my good side?
No, you ain't got one. Just trying to get a side.
Right.
You're on. I just trying to get our analytics started.
Oh, okay. Oh, that's good. Well, I always like to be analyzed. But where's our couch?
We're gonna get one.
Okay. We have to have a couch if we're going to be analyzed. I mean.
Well, that's just if we want to.
Did you hear?
That's just if we want to ask you a question.
Did you hear out in the University of Michigan that they will have a seminar for females on orgasm?
Organisms?
For one of them organisms.
Mm-hmm. What'd they find out? Did they have everybody come in there and experiment?
I have no idea what the.
Where was it at? I might want to go up and contribute.
I thought I might would go out to wonder if I could just maybe not take that course, but what do you call it when you sit in?
Audit?
Yeah, audit. Maybe I could just.
I want to contribute.
Right. Okay. But seriously.
I'm serious too.
I'm serious about them having that.
I'm serious about contributing. Well, it depends.
Right, there you go. Now, that's what my trouble is I have a hard time getting my depends off.
Yeah, I can understand what you mean.
At my age, you know. And, when you say depends, you know, it has a different meaning to somebody my age.
I understand.
Okay.
Is anything good going on?
I think so, really. The sun come up this morning, the sun went down this afternoon, and I saw
And you still got the pen.
And I saw both of them, and they're just as pretty as they ever was. And yes, this is a good old world. My daddy always said, boy, there's nothing wrong with this world. It's just the people that's in it.
Yeah, your pappy is a wise man.
He was.
I don't know why he didn't knock you in the head as a pup.
Somebody said he ought to hit my mama right between the nose for letting something like me come out from between her loins.
And I have to agree with that.
I had a sweetheart for a daddy and a sweetheart for a mama.
How'd you turn out like this?
I don't have no idea, but they were golden. They were. I was blessed to have parents like I had.
We're coming from you from beautiful downtown La Follette. That's La Follette, Tennessee, right in the middle of Now Here, right there where they keep the W.
Right.
And Now Here, or H, where they keep the H.
Where to keep what?
The H.
Where's that at?
Middle of nowhere.
Oh. Well, now let me tell you, I don't know, you know, the whole circumstances, but I had a man come to my door a while ago, and I loaned him something where he could make some lights tonight. But here, he called him and tried to get him to wait till the 1st when he gets his check on his light bill, and they would not. They come and cut it off tonight. And he had one small child. And, you know, I know business has to be run business-like, but still there's always a human element involved. and should be considered in any business decision. And anytime you got 2 days before someone's going to pay, I don't know how much time he had already had. I have no idea on that. But that seems a little bit counterproductive to cut it off, 2 days before it would be paid.
Well, he may have been 2 months behind, too.
It could possibly have been, yeah.
I had a fellow come to my door this evening. Want to know if I had a dryer for sale, and I recommended you, and he said you wasn't up there.
Oh, today?
Yeah, a few minutes ago.
Huh?
A few minutes ago.
Oh, yeah.
So what I done, I said, just leave me $100, and if Bob gets one, I'll have him call you, but he wouldn't do that either.
No, I was there.
Well, he didn't find you. He parked out there and looked around and come down my place.
Probably there in the motorhome.
I figured you was. Little black car parked out the road.
Huh?
Little black car parked out the road.
It wasn't when I come out,
No, that was at about 5. About 6, no, about 5:30.
I'm pretty sure I was there.
Well, I figured you was, but I didn't know whether you wanted me to tell him to go knock on the door.
Right.
So
Nobody knocked on the door except somebody wanting to borrow something.
I don't know where to go when I need to borrow something.
I know where to go when I need to borrow something.
Yeah, unfortunately. What else is going on, Bobby T?
Well, I don't know. Here in the sunshine capital of Campbell County, or Campbell County is the sunshine
It has to
capital.
be, because we're getting solar power
You had
to run
better
the
pray.
schools.
You better pray for a lot of sunshine.
I'm for it.
And
I tell you what I'm going to do. I've got 40 acres out there in front of the house, and I'm gonna get somebody to put me some solar panels in there, and I'm just going to sell electricity, and I'm going to be rich.
well, sure you are.
That'd be better than trying to raise corn.
Well, sure it would be.
Of course, raising corn and turning it into ethanol is only lose about 10% to do that, meaning that if you get $100 worth of gas out of it, you only have to put 110 in it.
Well, that's about true.
But that's actually more efficient than this electricity.
Well, you can't never tell. I don't see why in the world, if this was such a viable economic option. There's a lot of people that already jumped on this with both feet.
I don't know why T. Boone Pickens didn't just put a bunch of solar panels out there instead of putting them windmills up.
That is strange, isn't it?
Yeah. Old T. Boone ain't no fool.
No.
Something strange there, all right.
Right. They only have one big solar enterprise working in Arizona.
Well, how can that be? It ought to be all electricity.
Well, they already covered it.
They could sell to California.
Huh?
They could sell to
Sure
California.
they could.
I don't understand that.
I don't know why in the world the education department feels like they can make money off of selling solar
because
power.
they're
And can't
educated.
nobody else.
They're educated.
Oh, they have an education. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, I'm sorry about that.
Some people just don't understand high finance.
I know that. I never have graduated to the point where I felt like that you could bar yourself into a recovery.
You never graduated that far? They teach that in the 5th grade.
They do now.
Yeah. Looks like you'd have graduated past the 4th.
Yeah, they do now. I mean, I'd be afraid to go on that show that says, "Are you smarter than a 5th grader?"
I can understand. I can really understand. Do you know that Dixie Concrete has boat anchors?
Yeah, I believe you told me that.
Yeah, they do. They got them big boat anchors.
Right. And what they need to do now,
You could Titanic that and
you need to make sure you don't tie
anchor
that thing down too tight.
on the way up. It might just pull its nose under, mightn't it?
I had a friend. He eventually he made I don't know what he was, but he was well up in the police department. But he bought
I've been to the police department.
He bought him a new boat and had it in his boathouse down at Baden Lake, which Baden Lake in North Carolina is fed by the PD River.
PD?
The PD. That's another. It's oftentimes referred to as way down the Swanee River. That's the PD.
PD?
Yeah, PD River. It's P-E-E-D-E-E, PD. But it flows into Baden Lake, when it's a very small river. It's not a big river like you get when you get on down to South Carolina. But the river's not the problem.
It's a P.
Baden Lake was built for Alcoa, I believe Alcoa Aluminum. I believe it was Alcoa, I'm not sure. One of your aluminum companies.
They ain't another rental.
They fluctuated the level of that lake by 8 or 10 feet pretty quickly. You know, if they needed the water for electricity. And you know, the dumb fools built that lake, and all they had to do is put some solar panels there.
Yeah. They could have done that. Had to run that there Alcoa.
Huh?
Had to run that aluminum plant.
Say, why not? But the lake was down when he tied it up, and he tied it tight. And when the lake come up, he went up there, and all he saw was just the windshield of his boat sticking. A brand new, completely new boat.
Yeah.
That Baden Lake is one you may have heard about in the national news back during the Second World War.
I wasn't alive then.
No, but the news come in during the Second World War. One of the pilots of I guess that might have been a B-25, had a place there on the lake, and his family was there, and as he was flying out of Fort Bragg Air Force Base, I think the Air Force Base is called something else. Shaw Air Force is down in Columbia, South Carolina. But as he was flying out, he circled over the lake, and his family was standing there waving at him, and he dipped his wings like that, and he was too low, and it dug into the lake. And that thing went in about 45 or 50 feet of water. Well, they just got it out just a few years, 8 or 10 years ago.
What did they do to him?
Huh?
What did they do to him?
I don't remember. I don't remember from the story whether he survived or was killed, or I'm sure they court-martialed him. I know we had a U.S. senator that was raised not too far from me. He was 12 years older than me, 12 or 13, maybe 14 years older than me. And he moved out to Kansas, became very, very wealthy. He was a lawyer, became a senator or a representative. He might have been a representative. I'm not sure what he was, but pretty good political clout. Back during the Second World War, he was a fighter bomber pilot. And,
Fighter bomber.
Yeah, and they sent him out on a mission, and they photographed him. He was just going out there and dumping his bum somewhere that didn't matter, and coming back like he had completed his mission.
He wasn't no fool, was he?
He wasn't going to go over there where they was shooting at him.
Got to get shot doing that.
Well, they didn't court-martial him, but I don't think he flew any more missions after that.
Well, you know, the PT-109.
Yeah.
You know, they wasn't supposed to shut the engine off on that there patrol
boat.
And they got out there after having a drunken party and had the motors turned off. They couldn't get things started in time to get out of the way. Is the reason that sucker got shot.
Right, yeah.
Sunk.
Right.
And they still made a hero out of Kennedy.
Yeah. Well, now my brother was a commander on the PT boat also. He wasn't on, I don't even know what the number of his was, but he went to the reunion every 3 or 4 years when they had it. But he said that they would go in to these lagoons and shoot at the Japanese there, and Japanese wouldn't shoot at them until they turned around to go back out.
Yeah.
So they revamped those PT boats, and they put some machine guns that shot out the back. And so they'd go in there with the guns blazing and go whomp around, and the Japanese would rise up and start shooting at them. They'd mow them down. Then he had two of them come out from under him. One of them was blowed out from under. The other one, he ran up on a reef trying to get away, and he was setting up a rocket. He said those were plywood things, and they were all motors.
I had an uncle that had a couple of ships shot out from under him in World War II, and he was a welder and a diver. And they had these here, like a big old plunger. They'd go down there and they had a hole in the side of a ship. They'd go down there and they'd put that thing on there and they'd suck it up against there. They'd close that room off, you know,
Right.
so it'd be airtight.
Right.
And get a suction there, and then they'd go down in that cup and weld that sucker.
Right,
Or they'd go down in the cup, and whenever they sucked the air out of it, then they'd weld it.
right.
I don't know.
And not me.
But now, by the way, Dixie Concrete has more than boat anchors. They don't have steps, but they got all the makings, that and septic
Right.
systems too. Dixie Concrete for all your concrete needs and expertise in hard
Right.
rocks.
Septic tanks, whatever you need. Good people do.
Just
good
like
people to
Digger
do
down there at
business with.
Dixie, down there at Digger's Gas, Wilson's Propane, Wilson's Gas he calls it. Down there in the middle of the road in Sawmill Holler,
Well,
Five-
we know Digger's got gas, but he's also got propane.
562-5444 for all your propane needs.
Yeah,
Ain't that right? Ain't that right?
exactly
Ain't that
right.
right, Miss Mo?
Right.
What else you been up to, Bobby T?
Well, just been trying to hang around, you know, and
Nothing like getting hung, I always
everybody
say.
waits for the first of the month, you know, and that's a good thing about the government supporting you.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the first of the month that they gonna come through.
Well, they better come through. If they don't, we're going to get hungry.
I ain't gonna worry about it if they don't.
I am. I want to keep paying off so I can get my part of it.
Yeah, I ain't gonna worry about it if they don't.
Yeah, but you're an old pensioner. You've got money to burn. I'm just a poor old working boy.
Well, I am too, but I don't ever worry about nothing. I still know how to hunt, and after all, they said we could have guns to hunt with.
Yeah, as long as they wouldn't.
And that's what the Second Amendment was for. Of course, they should have put in there that it was to hunt politicians.
Yeah, that would have been the thing. I think that the Constitution ought to be amended, especially the Second Amendment.
Right.
I think they ought to set aside about 3 days a year when if you can get a politician in your sight without hitting a bystander, you can shoot them.
Right. I don't think there ought to be a bag limit on politicians.
No, or lawyers either.
Right.
In fact, there ought to be a reward on lawyers, a bounty.
Of course, the only thing is, you know, if you shoot them at political conventions.
No, that ain't right.
If you shoot them going to or from the bank,
It's like
they
hunting over baited fields.
Hunting over a baited field.
Especially going to the bank with a graft in your
Right.
pocket.
I really think
Well, that's encouraging.
you take Bob Corker. He is so interested in becoming the darling of Washington. He's about like James Madison. You know, James Madison wasn't but 5'4".
What's wrong with being short?
Well, there's nothing wrong with that. You don't have to bump your head as much.
I've noticed
what
that.
What I'm saying is, James Madison became the toast of Washington. He married the Belle of Washington.
You mean Dolly?
Who happened to be Dolly? I can't think of her last name.
Madison?
No, it was actually married. But
That's her name, Dolly Madison.
She was from.
She went in the cake business.
She was in the. She was from Greensboro, North Carolina.
Might have known.
She was, and I forget what I'll think of her maiden name here in a little
Wasn't Talmadge, was it?
bit. No, it wasn't Talmadge, it wasn't Andrews, or no relation to me at all.
And let's see here. Dolly Madison. D.
See what her maiden name was.
Madison. You didn't think I could spell that, did you?
What, Dolly? Or?
Her name was Dolly Payne Todd Madison. I don't know how that
Page.
works.
Okay, yeah. There's
Payne.
a lot of pages.
Payne.
Huh? Payne.
Well, that's her middle name. Was she married more than once?
Yeah.
Dolley Payne Todd Madison.
Yeah. Okay, there are a lot of Paynes.
I bet that was her mother's name.
Huh?
I bet that was her mother's name.
I bet you that was her name. I bet she was a
She
Payne.
was born in Guilford County,
Right.
province of North Carolina.
Right, yeah. That's where I was born also, was Guilford County.
Yeah, her name was Payne, and she married a John Todd, and he died after 3 years, and then she married James Madison. Yeah, her name was Payne.
Yeah, I knew that, but I had forgotten it.
Her first husband died from yeller fever.
From what?
Yeller fever.
Yeller.
Yeah.
That anything like malaria?
Yellow fever? No, it's a different disease, but it's both caused by mosquitoes, yeah. Sir Walter Reed, he's the one conquered yeller fever. They ain't found no cure for malaria yet.
Right.
Quinine helps, but no, yeller fever.
DDT kind of control it.
Well, that just kills the vector. That don't help the patient. And she wasn't the prettiest girl I've ever seen, but she may have looked all right back in them days when they couldn't see good, like we can now.
Right, that was just right after.
She ain't the one makes them cakes.
Right, I know that. I bet you the reason it don't show her hands is because she's got disfine hands.
No, she's got calluses. She got calluses from carrying all that stuff out of the White House when the British burned it.
Right. But see, the reason she looked good, that was just right after Ben Franklin, come up with the bipolar.
Well, he just wanted to look at her ankles.
Huh?
He just done that so he could look at her ankles. The more I want to look at the ankles, I'll let you know that now.
Oh, Lord. But Bob Corker, who I don't know really how to say it, we need to take a close look at Corker and Lamar Alexander.
Well, I've come to the conclusion if you name a young'un Bob, you've done ruined him for life.
Well, probably.
And Lamar, what can I say?
Yeah, I mean, yeah. But they both have become a part of the Washington establishment.
Yeah. We ain't got a politician nowhere I know of. With the exception of maybe one person that will stand up for the right thing.
And I don't about Duncan.
Oh, I wasn't talking about them guys. I just think about there's a guy here in this town that gravelled my road before the snow got here, and that ain't never happened before.
You ain't never what?
I ain't never had anybody to gravel the roads before the ice storm. It happened here. Potter come out and spread a little layer of grit there on the road before the ice storm. That ain't never happened before. They always wait till the storm hits and then try to get to you.
Right, yeah, I know. I noticed that. I went up across, I noticed that, yeah.
There's considerable talk about running him for county mayor because he does such a wonderful job. But I'm not for that. He's doing what we need him to do. We don't need him to get down there and get into some other mess. We just need to find somebody as good at that job as he is at his job.
Right. Well,
in fact, about anybody could beat. Well, I said I wasn't going to be political. I ain't going to say that.
No, you don't want to beat the mayor. You just want to tar and feather him.
Do you know that I'm a getting along just fine, not being political anymore? You know, you stick your neck out there, and they won't nobody come help you pull it in whenever they start axing after you.
It's true.
But whenever one of them wants a favor, they'll come to you. I don't know where they was at when I needed them.
Oh, Lord. Well, you know, right like on the national scene, Barack Obama says if he could get rid of Fox News and Rush Limbaugh,
he could steal us blind.
he could take us wherever he wanted to take us.
Well, that's a trip I don't want to make.
I don't either. You know, in 1986, when Reagan agreed to all of amnesty,
yep,
that one of the conditions of that was that they'd secure the borders.
Yep.
Well, you know that never happened.
I've noticed that.
And I maintain that a country that cannot secure its borders is not a country.
No, it's just a parking place.
Yeah, it's not a country.
Well, it's a funny thing to me, we can go secure Afghanistan and Iraq, but we can't secure Texas and Arizona and California, New Mexico. I ain't for the people that come here from south of the border, most of them are hard-working people. They work harder than the people they come here to visit. But still, you have to have some sort of order of things, and there ain't nothing wrong with securing your border and then having some kind of control over your immigrants. Ain't nothing wrong with that.
Well, I really don't think that the government should be sending all of my money or sending my money over to foreign countries.
Well, I don't care how much yours they send, as long as I get my part.
I don't think they ought to be sending any Americans money to foreign countries, even though foreign aid, I don't know what it's done other than rebuild Europe and rebuild all these places.
I can't move that table no further over now. You're going to back your chair up.
I'm going to have to get these number 13s back, these number 13s up a little bit, you know. And, I know a lady that's got feet bigger than mine. And if my feet was that big, I'd be the toast of a folly.
Yeah, I guess you would, but can she ski? Can she ski?
Without skis.
It tickles her feet. If you folks get to wanting a part for your car or your lawnmower or your tractor or your boat, you need to go to Napa Auto Parts, our local Napa dealer. You don't need to just go hunt up any Napa dealer. You need to go to La Follett's Napa dealer, right up there across from the IGA, 562-9406. That's the Napa dealer of choice.
Call Randy up. I guarantee you, whatever you need, if he hasn't got it, he'll have it here in just a few hours.
He'll have you here in the morning.
Right.
I can remember they used to put stuff on the bus.
Right.
They used to, if you need a part out of Knoxville, they'd put it on the bus.
Right.
You'd get here on the Trailways or the Greyhound the next morning.
Well, I remember years ago, I left keys somewhere, and I need them sent to me. They were sent to me by the bus.
Yeah. Yep.
I was way out working somewhere, and I needed keys to. Probably lost the keys to the truck I was riding in, and then I had an extra set at home.
There wasn't no use.
$5 to send that thing to. What is the name of that place? Roanoke, North Carolina.
Well, there wasn't no UPS, and there wasn't no FedEx. But now, no longer ago than 1971, we had a bunch of netting There's a guy over there in Atlantic, North Carolina, which is out from...
Which is not too far from Roanoke, North Carolina.
Yeah, it's out from Morehead City,
Yeah.
about 20-something miles. We sent him about 70 or 80 pounds of that netting on the bus.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember they used to raise them old storage areas up on the bus and load it up with stuff to carry, you know. And
Yeah.
was I talking upside down?
Yeah, and I didn't want it to come out that way because I don't want them to misunderstand the words you say.
I've seen it all. Actually, we had an old bus that run out to our community, which was 8 miles east of Greensboro, North Carolina. 8 miles from the city limit. It was about another 4 miles on into the heart of the city. But they had an old bus that come out there, and they called it the Blue Goose. It run twice a day.
They must have had a blue goose everywhere.
Well, they have one up here.
Yeah, on a Possum Holler.
Right. They had the old Blue Goose bus, and it would run. It run about I think 7:30 in the morning. We get to Greensboro by 8 o'clock, and it would come back at 5:15 or 5:30, and get to our place like about 6 o'clock in the afternoon. That's the only way you had to go if you didn't have an automobile.
Well, back in the old days, back before TVA and back when people farmed for a living, people around here didn't have anything to do in the wintertime because they couldn't raise crops, you know. I mean, they had work to do, but didn't have no money coming in. So what they'd do, they'd cut logs. And they'd cut logs and snake them down to the river, and they'd have them made up there into rafts right beside the river. And whenever the spring tide come, and that was when you got a lot of rain in March.
They'd ride them down to Knoxville?
Yeah, no, Chattanooga.
Chattanooga.
They'd ride them rafts down to Chattanooga, and then they'd take a train from Chattanooga back to Knoxville. And the ones that was conservative and knowed how to manage money would walk from Knoxville back home to save that nickel bus fare.
I've been there. I've seen that, you know.
And you know, you look at it this way, it's just a nickel. Why would anybody do that to save a nickel? Well, a nickel would buy something back then in the first place, about $5 worth of stuff now.
Right.
The other thing is, it ain't like they had anything else to do that would make them any money.
Right.
They could have spent the nickel and got back here, but they couldn't have found nothing to do with their time that would make them another nickel.
Right.
So they earned that nickel by walking home.
Right.
So
somebody might come along in a wagon or something and give them a ride.
Well, yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
And if they knew somebody on the way and it got dark before they got there, they'd just go in and eat supper with them, spend the night, and take off walking the next morning.
I remember people used to come by our house, which we were a little bit off the road, and I remember my people putting people up that were traveling from one place to the other.
Everybody done it back then.
Yeah. Feed their horse if they had a horse in a wagon or a horse, and very few of them had buggies.
Give them that provender. Give them that provender.
Yeah, you know, they'd feed their horse and make sure it was watered and looked after, and everybody go out and help them do that. That's when I was real small, and they'd feed them supper and feed them breakfast and send them on their way.
Yeah. Well, the whole point is, if people knew how to get by and realized they'd be better off of making do with what they got than they are living off the government and being dependent on them, we'd all be better off.
I think that's very true. You know, I am firmly convinced, and I've said this a number of times, and I look at it and I apply it to a lot of different situations. The more you give somebody, the poorer it makes them.
Yeah. Of course, I could use a little affirmative action. You know, hillbillies have been an oppressed and discriminated against a bunch of people for a long time. Hillbillies could really use a hand up.
Yeah.
Now, you high-tiders and you Tar Heels, you don't need nothing like that.
But tell me, you know, I was 14 before we had electricity. I graduated from high school before we had the indoor bathroom. And
I thought everybody did.
What?
Graduated from high school before they got indoor bathroom.
I guess. And so I know. I don't worry about the economic conditions.
Right down to the truth of the matter, the outhouse is a whole lot more pleasant experience than an indoor outhouse anyway.
Right. Yeah. Like I say, if I had to, I still know how to dig an outhouse hole, and I never could understand why they put a two-hole or two in there. I mean, nobody ever went to the bathroom with you.
I don't know either. I
can't remember, did they have two moons on that door or just one?
I don't know. I never did want no company.
Well, it's like I told them, up here, very few businesses have restroom facilities. And I never will forget, I went down to Save-A-Lot one time, and they had a sign there, no public restroom.
Mm-hmm.
I told them I sure was glad of that, because I hated to go to the bathroom in public anyhow.
Yeah.
I said, where's that private bathroom at?
Did they let you in?
I didn't really have to go. I was just picking.
It's people like you makes it hard on the rest of us.
Yeah.
There's a guy told me one time he run a restaurant, and he said when he was traveling, the way that he determined where to eat, he didn't like to go to, franchises, McDonald's and Burger King stuff. He liked to find a mom and pop operation or some sort of greasy spoon. He said what he always done, he'd go and look at the restroom. And if the restroom was clean, he'd eat, and if it's dirty, he'd go somewhere else.
Everybody was eating in the restaurant?
No, but he figured if they didn't keep the toilet clean, they didn't wash the dishes like he wanted them washed either.
Well, I've found over the years that if a restaurant has a higher than a grade C rating,
Yep.
they don't know how to make a hot dog.
Well, that's true, too. There used to be a place, and everybody around here will know what I'm talking about, but, well, it's up at the pool room. It's been changed hands so many times, it's all right to tell it now, but the food inspector was talking one day, and he said I'd go up there and said they got the best chili and the best hot dogs that you can find anywhere. He said you just sit up there and stomp cockroaches and eat. He said it's good stuff. And he was a health food inspector. He said you sit up there and eat and stomp cockroaches.
Well, probably a cockroach or two is what gave that chili such a good flavor.
Well, yeah, I wouldn't doubt it. I mean, if it ain't good enough for a cockroach, I don't want none either.
Cockroach won't eat it.
Yeah, I mean, what does that say about the cooking? I was over at the Chinese restaurant in Knoxville one time, sitting there eating, there's a whole parade of cockroaches running up and down the wall, and I'm thinking, I wonder how healthy this is. You know about that in Jellicoe, they closed them down for serving for processing
roadkill.
Yeah, they claimed it was private. They're doing it themselves. They found one on the side of the road and put in the garbage can and dripped blood in there, taking it back there to work it over. Ain't gonna hurt nobody, don't reckon.
3 billion Chinese can't be wrong.
But now, by the way, if you do happen to get some bad food, like some rotten tomato juice or something, been known to happen.
I'll tell you who to call. 562-9370.
That'd be Vital Care Tennessee. When Bob had his little experience with food-borne ailments, Vital Care hauled him to the hospital and saved his old raunchy hide.
Yeah, he did.
562-9370
and it did not cost the county 1 penny for them to tote me over there.
We highly recommend Vital Care, but we don't recommend Bob's cooking.
Right. I can personally attest to that. There's nothing wrong with the care you get in the county ambulance. Nothing at all. The only thing is, they
lose money by hauling you.
In Knoxville and Knox County, they contracted their ambulance service out to Rural Metro. I believe that's who has it, isn't it?
Yep.
And that their ambulance service does not cost the city nor the county any money at all. But yet here we charge off more money
than Vital Care operates on.
And then we have to kick in additional We need to operate our ambulance service.
They've got the only breathing machine. What do they call that? An incubator?
One of them mobile ventilators.
Ventilators.
Yeah.
You can ride with Vital Care and get mobilely in.
You said that right.
What'd you call it?
A ventilator.
Ventilator. You get mobily ventilated.
Right.
You can't get that anywhere else around here. So if you need ventilated,
They're the only ones that's got a mobile one.
562-9370. And Bob cooks pretty good. He just don't take care of his tomato juice like he ought to.
No. Take care of it. Somebody opened that thing and it'd been in the refrigerator 2 months at least. But I didn't know it had ever been opened. I came through there, didn't even cut the lights on one night, just got me a big old chocolate about a fourth of that jar, and when I got up to, got sick and looked, there was stuff swimming around in there.
There was all sorts of unidentified floating objects, wasn't there?
Right? Well, I guess I could have, since they were undocumented, I guess I could have declared them U.S. citizens.
No, they were undocumented. I mean, unidentified floating objects.
Oh, okay. Well, I believe in UFOs.
I do too.
It's the United States Army, Air Force that doesn't exist.
I understand that.
Yeah. Because the United States Air Force, they're shipping all them planes to Egypt. So
we shipped scrap iron to Japan before
they
World
shot
War
it
II.
back at us.
Yeah, we got it back.
Right. Well, we shipping the biggest export we have is scrap metal to China right now.
You reckon they'll send us any back?
Oh, they'll send it back at us, all right.
Well, I hope they
there's
get.
enough.
I hope they get Washington D.C. first.
There's enough of those people over there in China that they could start marching them in the sea.
Two abreast. Two abreast.
And march forever because they'll multiply faster than they can march them into the sea.
Well, that sounds like winter to me. We can fill up. we could fill up that there that
channel.
Yeah,
between there and Formosa.
Yeah. Just walk on,
Right.
Wonder why they don't do that and build on to China. They could fill out there and expand out into the China Sea. They'd be joined up to Formosa and Taiwan they call it, whichever one you want to, depending on your political leanings.
Right. Well, Constantinople is now Istanbul.
Yeah. Thought you had it backwards. You said that right.
No, I don't know what it is.
Well, I never have been to either place, so I don't know.
I haven't either, even though I dated a girl from Turkey.
She must have been hard up.
She's a pretty good looking girl. Her name was Unka Akin.
Unka Akin.
Unka, if you're listening over there.
Yeah, I'm sure she's watching.
She might be tuned in. You can't
with
never
bated breath.
She's a graduate of the University of North Carolina. Her name is Unka, and I think it's Unka. Akin, her last name's Akin, Atkan, Akin.
Is she Muslim?
I don't think she was, really. Of course, that didn't make any difference. I used to have an old Jew-boy that loved them tenderloin biscuits I used to bring back.
They were kosher because them pigs was raised on bacon.
He said, by the way, what are these things made out of? I said, pig.
What did he say?
Oh, he said, don't you ever mention that around my parents.
Pig's pretty good when it's cooked right, ain't it?
His name was Weinstein.
Well, if what you eat will send you to hell, we all going.
Yeah, Unka Akin. She's a pretty girl. Very pretty.
Bad judgment.
Huh?
Bad judgment.
What, we're going with me?
Yeah. What did she major in?
I think they were like all of them over there. They were in public health, you know.
Public health.
Yeah,
I want one in private health. Private health.
we had one group. They used to eat down at the restaurant where I worked, and she wore those old Orlon sweaters. You ever see an old Orlon sweater?
I reckon I have.
Yeah. Okay. And she would wear those things with no lingerie underneath.
Oh.
I don't know how in the world anybody could stand that stuff, wearing it that way. And we called her the Himalayan Mama.
Himalayan Mama.
And we called her boyfriend
The Himalayan Papa.
Muhammad Siddiqui.
Sadusi?
Siddiqui.
Saduki, okay.
And the reason we named them was they would come into it. I worked at a pretty nice restaurant, and they'd come in and sit and moon and you make eyes at one another, and they'd sit there and eat $1.40 plate of spaghetti and drink coffee or tea or whatever. And they'd sit there the whole time you were open, and they never tipped.
Well, they bought the food.
Huh?
They bought the food.
Yeah, but if they didn't want table service, they ought to go in the cafeteria.
Well, no, but you know, you're a wealthy American.
And,
you didn't need no money.
We did. Everybody did everything they could when they saw them coming to keep them off their tables.
Yeah. You ever think about putting?
I don't know what his real name was, but we called him Muhammad Siddiqui, and we called her the Himalayan Mama. And she was a well-endowed old gal wearing them Orlon sweaters with nothing on under it, you know, and in the warm weather.
Did you watch her walk out?
Well, I'd go outside so I could watch her coming out.
Oh, yeah. That's what I mean.
Oh, she was going that way behind, too.
Like two monkeys are fighting, like two pigs are fighting in a sack.
Trying to get out of that bag.
Yeah, I bet he. Was that before Andy was there or after?
That was while.
Wow, okay.
It's while Andy was there. And Andy was very desirable to wait on, because even though they'd sat in there on my tables for almost 2 hours,
Yeah.
it was while the restaurant was closed, and they'd yell, "Bob!"
Bobby T!
I'd get up, and they'd get them beer or whatever we wanted, then I'd go back and study. I had a little study area back there where I would study while they were in there. And I've waited on them a many a time. And enjoyed it, enjoyed making a $5 tip. You know, that was about a day's wage.
Yeah. That was, yeah. It was.
You know, I heard today on television, you hear all kind of claims from different companies selling whatever they think that gold prior to Obama's first immaculation when he was coronated the first time was $800 an ounce. 4 years later, it's $1,665 an ounce. Now that
Did it go into 32 now?
Well, they say it will double during his, but actually gold is not doubling.
No, it's just the dollar is going down.
The dollar is going down, is what it is. In other words, it takes $1,665 worth of money now to buy what you could buy for $800 back in 2007.
Yeah. Actually, gold by rights should be a little bit cheaper because they've made more of it.
They're making more gold?
Yeah. When you find it and put it on the market, that's the same as making more, ain't it?
I guess.
Well,
I don't know nothing about that.
By all laws of economics, the price of gold should always go down.
Well, yeah, I don't know.
Unless you find more use for it than you've got increased supply.
Well, what was it? They moved $38 billion in gold out of New York City that belonged to Germany.
Mm-hmm.
And I figured, you know, somebody said, well, they're going to have to figure out how to move all that with security. I'm gonna bet they already moved it.
Well, yeah, they ain't gonna tell you in advance.
No. That's about like telling somebody you ain't got a gun.
Yeah, yeah, it is. That's pretty dumb too.
I got old Betsy with me that I dropped on the floor when Weston was here.
Yeah, I don't know about this.
Womp told everybody that we took our politics serious here.
That's what got us blackballed in Washington. We didn't get invited to the
We didn't get invited to the inauguration ball, did we?
They missed us 4 years ago too. I guess they didn't know about us then.
Right, no. But we don't want to. We want to keep a little bit lower profile than Fox News, because they'll come after us.
I'm gonna let them catch you.
They already done that one time.
Yeah.
But it's a good old world if you can bear up under the strain, folks.
Nothing like being bore up, I always say.
I'm gonna take me. I think I'm gonna go into sand pumping up business.
I heard that rumor.
Go into sand pump. I've been in sand pumping business before.
They'll call you Mr. Sandman then, won't they?
Mr. Sandman, bring me a dream.
You know, that sand might be worth some money by the time Obama goes out.
I said that right. Give her a complexion like peaches and cream.
Folks, you don't have to listen to this singing, but it won't last long.
Give her two lips like roses and clover.
When he gets him a hearing aid, he'll quit singing.
Tell me
He'll know what he sounds
lonesome
like.
nights are over. I'm sorry about that, folks.
Me too. We're going to lose our scant viewing audience yet.
Huh?
Going to lose our scant viewing audience yet. As most of you know, this is also available online in the archives. You can watch this anytime you want to. I notice a lot of you prefer to watch it later so you can leave the commercials out, I guess, and the singing.
Oh, folks, we have a good time. I don't know if you do or not.
Yeah, I'm sorry. You don't have as good a time as we do.
Yeah, I think we need to start to get those little musical accompaniment and open up a show like Arthur Smith used to have. You know, a guy that said pie or round, pie or not square, pie or round.
I think we ought to put a...
I don't know. I was going to tell everybody, you know, I've got to...
Lum and Abner show is what we need.
Huh?
We need a Lum and Abner show.
Benny
We can
Hill.
just figure out
we got a Benny Hill.
If we can figure out who's Lum and who's Abner.
We got a Benny Hill show here.
Yeah, we do, don't we? Pretty good.
But I want to
He was on last night, wasn't he?
Who, Benny?
Yeah.
It was he?
Yeah.
I didn't catch him. I didn't watch him.
I didn't either. Well, you must be talking about a different Benny Hill now.
I'm talking about the Englishman.
No, I'm talking about our local
You're
Benny
talking
Hill.
about Benny Hinn.
No,
Yeah, Benny.
I'm talking about R.L. He looks like Benny Hill.
Okay, all right.
Benny's dead.
I know he died, yeah, but they still run reruns, you know.
Kind of like this show. Some people would argue we're dead too. This is just a rerun.
Well, I was going to tell people, Benny, if you're listening.
Benny Hill ain't listening.
Benny Hill's not, but if you need some automobile repair or you need some tires, you come up to my place. Got good prices, good service. If you're coming down the road and you need some air in your tires, don't go pay at least a minimum of $1 to get those machines to come on.
Have you got a mechanic?
Huh?
Got a mechanic?
Yeah.
How long are you going to keep him?
I don't know whether I have or not, but he's a pretty good mechanic if I decide to keep him. But he just has some other flaws that...
Benny Hill. You ain't got no used phone booths, have you?
Anyway.
Used phone booths?
Books.
Booths.
Booth.
Booths.
Why, you want to have a duel in the phone booth?
No, I heard they was going to have a revival or commemoration of the Doctor Who show, and I figured there'd be a big demand for used phone booths.
Ought to be.
You know, Doctor Who used to teleport in a phone booth.
Right.
Getting hard to find phone booths. Wonder where Superman changes britches now.
I have no idea, you know.
He used to change in phone booths all the time.
That was Superman.
Who'd I say?
Huh?
Who'd I say?
I don't know. I didn't hear what
I thought I said Superman.
you may have.
Yeah, he'd run in the phone booth and change his britches and fly off.
Yeah.
You know, he took his other clothes and he mashed them down flat and put them in a little pocket in the back of his cape so he wouldn't be without his clothes whenever he got where he's going. He pulled them up over his long handles in and he's ready to go.
Oh, Lord. How television has changed this world.
I reckon it has. I still miss Howdy Doody myself.
I did. It's howdy doody time.
I never did understand Clarabelle, though.
Really?
Yeah. A man named Clarabelle.
I have a friend
That's one.
who is the actual reincarnation of Howdy Doody. he has freckles.
He got strings hooked to his
freckles
shoulder.
on his nose, and when he talked, when he laughed, he was Howdy Doody. We called
He got strings on his
we
arm.
called him Howdy Doody.
I used to have a friend now that looked like Howdy Doody.
I wish I had his number. We'd call him up right now and talk to Howdy Doody.
He'd think this is a peanut gallery. You know, we ought to start calling people.
We should.
We could get some real characters if we'd
Some of them might not like what I call them.
If you can get Howdy's number, tell him we'll call him.
I got Howdy's number up the office.
Ask him if he'd like to be a star next Tuesday night about 7:30.
Right. Now, Howdy was the one that was scared of dogs. I mean, just scared to death. And well, he was a little bit dubious about going to a house at night anyhow. And he was a good salesman. I mean, he's really a good in-home salesperson. And he said, come on, go with me on this appointment. I know we got a sale. I'll give you half the commission. Well, you couldn't turn it down because depending on what it sold, commission usually was anywhere from $400 to $3,000, you know. And I've gone with him many times and split a $3,000 commission.
When you going again? I'll go with you.
I need to. I need to go back in there.
You selling graves, was you?
Howdy Doody, I never will forget. He says, we got one over here on Jericho Road, was where it was at, and that's where they were doing all that grading. That company out of Georgia, I told you, he'd come up and bought a bunch of property not too far from me. And he told me where it was. Well, I knew why he wanted me to go with him, because it had a chain link fence around it, and there was a Doberman in there. Well,
he's going to feed you to the dog, wasn't
well, he didn't know that I knew the people and knew the Doberman.
Yeah.
You know, the Doberman knew me. So we walked up there, and he said, you going in with that dog? I said, isn't that what we come over here for? He said, you going in? I said, yeah. Well, they had a pot-bellied pig and that Doberman in that chain link fence. I went in, old Doberman come running up to me, and I patted him on the head, and I said, that's a mighty good-looking pig you got there. And Howdy Doody, his eyes got about that big, so he didn't know I knew the dog. I said, man, that's a mighty nice-looking pig you got there, buddy.
What did the pig say?
I think he run between Howdy Doody's legs and about tripped him. But
The dog didn't even know he had a pet pig, did he?
he didn't know he was pretty.
Well, okay. Well, we've about wasted another hour of your wonderful time. Tune in tomorrow night at 8 o'clock here or on Channel 12.
We'll be here. Folks, I'm going to go watch Tennessee beat Vanderbilt.
I ain't going to go watch anybody get beat.
I'm going to watch Tennessee beat Vanderbilt.
I'm still wondering about how a Doberman can raise a pig.
Oh, pig come running across there, and the Doberman, say both of them come running great. And I said, sure is a mighty nice looking pig you got there. And that just flipped. His real name is, his last name is Pascal.
Pascal.
And I always called him by a nickname. I called him Rudy, and that's not his name's Richard.
Richard.
Now, Richard Pascal, if you're watching down in same place where Randy Travis is from.
Yeah, down there where Randy Travis is from.
Yeah, well, I can't think of I'll think of the name of that town in just a minute.
I just have to look this up. We can't leave people
Rudy
wondering.
or Howdy Doody if you're watching.
Hang on here. We can't have people
Okay.
wondering. RendyTravis.
Randy Travis.
Marshville?
That's where it's from, yeah.
Marshville.
Yeah. That's where he's from. Yeah.
Well, now we know.
Huh?
Digging up bones. We got to go, folks.
Right. Picking up bones.
We'll see you next week for the brand new show and tomorrow
Right.
night too.
Yeah,
You couldn't
we'll see
stand
tomorrow
this
night
again.
on television and as well as on YouTube.
TTFN.